You're on.
We're back, baby, and definitely not having any audio issues anymore. I am Reagan. This is Bez Racing Team, Season 5, Round 7. With me, Steven. Steven, how are you doing today?
Uh, I could be better, Reagan. I could be better. These technical issues that we've been having. I'm glad we've sorted through them, but first it was ACC TV, then it was audio. We've gotten the notification that Twitch Studio is being discontinued in less than 2 weeks, so we have to figure out another way to broadcast. It seems that everything we are trying to do today is just being made ever more difficult, and now we have the flashing camera issue that we
No!
always have.
Okay, we're gonna stop the
Freaking
autopilot.
yep. That's excellent.
And Steven, if you could share your screen for me.
Oh, I thought I was so sorry.
Nope. Nope.
Share
I'm
your
blind.
screen.
I hope I'm showing you all something really cool right now.
Oh, we're looking at Kieran Macy in the Porsche here. We were looking at Richard Walters driving the Mustang. That's a change. So I think this is the first race where the Mustang has been an option. We're going to switch the car number to manufacturer briefly so that we can take a look at what car everyone is in. So Richard, the only driver taking up the option to switch to the new Mustang without a points penalty. I'm not sure if anyone has, but they just aren't here today. But we now get to hear this glorious Ford, which it may not be too glorious because isn't it just the Jaguar sounds? Did you see that in the car details?
No, I didn't. It's just the Jaguar sounds. They just copied them over.
Apparently, it was something where like the engine sound was copied over, and then apparently they copied the gearing from I think it was the BMW, but with the different engine, the transmission just does not match at all. So apparently, sixth gear is just completely unusable, even at the Nürburgring with how long that final straight is. You just stay in fifth. There is no use for that final gear. So
Interesting.
So yeah, like ACC did get the Ford GT3 out first. Oh, BMW Aerobase, but Jaguar engine sound. But then just something completely messed up with the transmission. So yeah, Kunos did get the Ford GT3 out first, but it's basically just a Ford body with everything else just taken from other cars. So not I don't know if I can give ACC all the credit for a great job on that one, but apparently it is decently fast.
Well, hopefully they get that changed up. You'd have to think. I mean, yes, they got it out first, but what does that even mean? As we've got Richard Walters going off there.
What does that even mean? As iRacing in just over 2 weeks, they're gonna have their own version of it. I have to say, I'm excited for that.
And unfortunately, it sounds like they're actually just copying over the performance of the MX-5 for that one. But that's okay. That's a popular car, and it has some pep when it wants to.
It does. It goes fast. You just have to know how to drive it. I saw some sign-outs. I think one might be from V-Guard, because I saw in the Garage 61 channel within the iRacing group that he set an iRacing team lap record just a couple of hours ago. So I think he might be participating in the 24 hours of Nürburgring in iRacing this weekend. If that is the case, V-Guard, best of luck. If you were just doing laps and you were not participating in that, well, I'm glad you set a team lap record. Darren does not like this track. Darren, I have to agree with you on that one, even though I have only done, I believe, 3 laps on this track just so I can get the track medals. It was not my favorite 3 laps in this game. Reagan, do you have any thoughts about Valencia?
I also don't have a lot of experience on this track. I do remember when it first came out, I spent a couple nights with the Bez Racing Team group doing some public lobbies, and to be honest, I quite enjoyed it. It's definitely the track is a lot. You don't have a lot of time to breathe. You really, I mean, after that front straight, it is just turn after turn after turn. A very windy track, but I don't know. I found it had some nice flow to it, despite all of those short times between braking zones. I mean, a lot of flow is I don't know. It's something I always enjoy. I mean, there's long sweeping turns as I go. I believe we just passed the Curva Afición there, going down into what I guess could be described as the back straight here, as close to a back straight as you can get, before the Curva Champihereros. So there's a lot of fun to be had. I really like this last turn, this last long sweeping turn. You're just going all the way through it before you're basically turning into the braking zone, as we have Hauben going slow here. And I don't know. Again, it's not a track I have a ton of experience with. Maybe the more I drive it, the more I'd hate it. But so far, I'm not. I certainly don't have negative opinions of it.
Well, that is good to hear. Nico, I think... No, I don't think he invalidated that T1 because the track limits, at least depending on the corner around here, are kind of forgiving, are they not?
I believe so. I believe they're pretty forgiving. I just did a little replay there, by the way. Also, nope, it's all good. I didn't want to interrupt. Hello, I think that was Macy I saw in the chat. Hope you're having a nice evening. Are you driving today? You're not driving. Yes, you are driving. P5 for Kieran Macy at the moment. It looks like he's in the garage. We've got a lot of drivers in the garage at the moment. A lot of drivers. I think we are about 3.5 minutes left in qualifying, and this might be the first time we actually talk about how the drivers are doing. And so far, as usual, we've got Nico Dudek, P1, with Kurt Peters not too far behind with a 31 flat. Richard Walters about 3/10 behind him. And Nikinen a couple tenths behind him. So a little bit of space for each of the drivers up at the top at the moment. 12 drivers, a bit of a lighter grid than we're used to seeing. But still plenty of opportunities for us to see some fun racing today.
Yeah, I would think with this and only one more solo round left, I would think we would have some more drivers still trying to get some points. But Nico has been very dominant this season, so that overall championship might be on the way to being wrapped up. We'll have to see what that performance looks like for Nico, but as Reagan, you mentioned, he is currently leading on a fast lap right now, trying to find a 10th or 2. He's 1/10 up right now. Darren Chan also showing a significant improvement. He's only a few hundredths behind Paul Kropp, so if he is able to get that 4 or 5 tenths, that could vault him up to P5, maybe even P4. He's lost a couple tenths as he is going through this lap, though. He is... See, this is... oh, I know what corner. This is turn 12, I believe. So only a couple more corners left in it for Darren.
Yes. Coming into the Curva Champihereros, of course.
Champihereros. Goes a little wide there. I believe that invalidated.
Yes, yep. That is the one spot that I remember being a real pain for keeping it on track, because you are just like shooting yourself off to the right just in time to be shooting yourself off to the left. So as much as you can cut that corner, you want to be. As Darren also cuts the pit entry corner there by quite a bit. Not that it makes too much of a difference in this qualifying, as Nico Dudek, big gain up to 30.252.
Yeah, that is now about 3/4 of a second ahead of second place Kurt Peters. That is a big jump and a monster lap. Nico saying, yeah, T1, you can get the tires on the green stuff and still be valid. If F1 stewards were here, they would be very upset with how ACC does track limits around here. They, of course, want you to stick within the white lines. And if anything, I feel like some consistency on track limits would be nice. But I guess it's one of those things. You just have to do the laps around here, figure out where you can take some liberties with the track limits, where you need to stick to them to not invalidate. Maybe it just forces you to have to learn all of that.
Yep, it's it's a double-edged sword. There's obviously no stewards, as Richard Walters decides to bail out of that lap. Is coming around for one more lap there in the background. Bryce Prevost with a small increase or a small improvement on his lap time, up to a 32.16. But looks like, at least based on that, he is done for the day. So we'll just have a couple drivers left. I think Richard has decided to. I think he's doing a lap at the moment.
I believe so.
So we've got a couple drivers with the possibility to gain. We see here Hauben has had a big gain in the last corner, so this will be a bit. Might not be enough to get him a new spot, but always good to end off qualifying with an improvement. And looks like we just got red across the board. Maybe Richard, maybe Nikkonen. They're the last two with the possibility of improving. We'll just have to see what they do. It looks like Nikkonen might have found a couple tenths, but a lot of lap left to go, and that was not a particularly good turn there for him. Turn 8, I'm going to guess. I really don't know this track very well.
I know. I think that's going to be our biggest struggle for the day is switching to a different camera and then having no idea what corner we're looking at.
That is a problem with this track. Everything does kind of just look a little bit the same from above.
Yeah, almost a little Paul Ricard-esque in that sense.
Yes.
Matthew Duthie, I think, was showing a little bit of green, but I believe invalidated because that green has gone away. Richard and Nikkonen now both showing red. Richard is in the pits. Nikkonen finishing out the lap for Pride, but it is going to be 4, maybe 5 tenths down on his best. No improvement there. The grid is going to look the way it is and has been for the last couple minutes. I think we can just go ahead and switch on over to our track overview because I think our viewers are going to need it just as much as we are. How about it, Reagan?
That sounds great. Let's see, we'll all learn about this track together. Here we've got, wow, that was supposed to be a word, but I don't know which one. Here we've got Valencia. Nice overview here. It's not going to be flying through. Thank you, Stephen, for slowing this down. Through the only real straight line of the entire track, we're going into turn 1. That is Curva Aspar. Into turn 2, a long hairpin called the Curva Doham in my track guide here. Turns 3, 4, and 5. Jumping ahead. Wow, this is, a lot of the turns are nice, long, and sweeping. Sweeping left here, the Curva Nieto. Into a sharp, or not a sharp left, a slight left into a sharp braking zone. The Curva Afición want to be careful to get on the brakes for the next turn. Coming through this section here. Wow, I really have no idea even how to describe this track. That is a problem. A lot of similar turns here, but I do know this turn. It is the Curva Champi Herreros. Very tricky turn, trickiest turn on the track in my opinion. Really got to carry as much speed as you can before coming into that sweeping left-hander that sharpens up into the final turn, the Curva a Campos, into the front straight, ending off a very, very quick lap there, no matter how slow this track guide gets slowed down.
I think your two favorite words there were sweeping and curve.
Am I wrong?
I think
that don't sweep.
I think there could have been some other adjectives.
Okay, there. Well, you always ask me to do the track walk, so
I know.
Yeah, feel free to find some new words. I don't know if you've heard of turn, curve,
nice, long, flowing.
Flowing. Oh,
Yeah,
flowing. Wow. It's
that's
a bit too fancy
that's
for
a
my blood.
synonym for you. Um,
Only
but let's head over to this overview video that I definitely made before this morning.
okay. Here, I'm going to, I'll try my best here. So we are going into Valencia. Lap 129.2 is the fastest in the game. I think that was a 130.3 in real life, so a little bit faster in the video game. It usually is. You can never get it perfect. Here we are going towards the bend number 1.
Ooh.
Assetto. Yes, a nice bend there. You can see there's room for an overtake. It's really the only straight line again where you can get into 5th gear before we go into loop number 2, the Dohan curve. Sorry, I don't mean to use the word curve. Before we get into meander number 3, then we go into the undulating turn 4, Nico Terral. Before we've got a bit of a spiral here on spiral number 5. Here we've got twist number 6, the Angel Nieto. Before, and this is a bit of a, this is just a, I'm going to say turn, because we've just got a slight left right into a braking zone here before we take the bulge number 8, the Bernat Martinez bulge, of course, as everyone knows it. Arc number 9 going into coil number 10, sharpen up into the curl number 11, Jalamazia curl, as we all know it. We've got the hardest inflect on the track, the Champi Herreros hump. And here we've got a long bowed. Which would haven't I used? Swell number 14. Before we go on to the front straight again, ending off a lap.
Well, I'm sure glad you know how to use a thesaurus.
So, also known as, wow, there's not a single synonym for lap? Stretch.
Circuit.
Stretch.
For a lap?
That's a round of Valencia.
Just call it a circuit.
It's a portion. That's a good portion of the circuit Ricardo Torma.
Yeah, I don't recall which word you used for turn 7, but I think that could have been a kink instead.
Oh, a kink.
That was one that was not used.
Kink was not used. Kink wasn't even mentioned in the synonyms.
Wow, you gotta get a new book.
Sorry, Oxford, you're out.
We're going to start with some car numbers and position deltas to start off. That'll give us a good idea at the start of the race. Our car classes, and then immediate moves up and down the field. We'll shift in a couple minutes to our race relatives and give you an idea on how far apart our drivers are separated once we get the start completed. We have 2 Ferraris up front. I tried to update the liveries right before the session, and Nico and Kurt both had the same file name for their liveries, so that's why they look exactly identical. Both of them were saying, hey, here's the name of our file. It was the same. I think I kept Nico's, because then Windows File Explorer was like, hey, these 2 files have the same name, you can only keep one. I think I kept Nico's, so I apologize, Kurt, that your livery is not on the screen. I think you just need to be a little more creative with your livery name, and then we can have it on stream. But that's why we have 2 identical Ferraris, P1 and P2. But it looks nice for the camera that we have that front row lockout. Again, Richard Walters in P3 driving that new Ford Mustang. We'll have to keep an eye on his telemetry, see if he ever does use the 6th gear. Nikkonen is in a McLaren, if I'm not mistaken. I guess, you know what? While they're going on the formation lap, why don't I just make this easier on myself and switch from position delta to manufacturer?
Why not?
Why not? It was a McLaren. I had a low probability of getting that right, but I did. I will give myself props for that. Kieran Macy, the first of our 3 Porsches, before we get to another German marquee, Paul Krabs in the Mercedes. two more Ferraris in P7 and P8 lining up in row 4 with Darren Chan and Bryce Prevost. Jorge Esteban, the second Porsche, one of our second-to-last pro drivers. Johan Haubin and Matthew Duthie. Matthew, I believe, a new driver, our final pro driver. And then Nicholas Castillo rounding out in that blue Publix-branded Porsche.
And I see we've got an explanation. So this is the official DSRT livery, which is why the file names were the same. Race should be starting any second now. Why does ACC TV give us maybe the worst track map I've ever seen as we are off? Or the worst camera. Jeez, here we go. Here's a nice heli cam. Let's see what happens going into turn 1. Everything is looking nice and clean. Richard Walters and Nikkonen going side by side. And or no, that was Nikkonen and Macy. I apologize. Peters. Wow, I swear, people are driving out there as we've got them still side by side, going through the undulation coming up here. But it does look like that is Walters? No, that is, what am I saying? That is Nikkonen that did get the best of Macy there in that nice little fight at the start. We've got a little bit of fighting at the back as well as someone's gone off. That's Duffy has gone off near the start. We're going to keep it on helicam here just to make sure we've got as much of the action as possible. As here we've got Paul Krobs trying to have a little sniff at Kirian Macy. Darren Chan not far behind having a little sniff himself.
Yeah, that is right on the rear bumper of that purple Merc. Maybe a look. Oh, and a tap. And now it's
we took a bite of
calamity.
The apple, and Paul Krobs turned around and all the way to the back of the grid. That is not great to see there. Paul Krobs is not going to be happy with his lap 1.
Nope, that is definitely unfortunate. Darren starting a little bit of a domino effect there, bumping into Paul, and then Bryce and Jorge getting into that as well. Nico, of course, setting the fastest lap as he was leading, and Richard Walters moving up into P2 got the jump on Kurt Peters. Despite a little bit of contact, Bryce Prevost, Jorge Esteban both up 2 places on account of getting past Darren Chan and Paul Krobs. Matthew Duthie getting around Nicholas Castillo after getting into the gravel on lap 1, and Paul sitting plumb last, down 6 spots after getting turned by Darren.
Yes, Paul, let's see. He's close enough to that back group that he'll be able to start fighting soon enough, but that is a long way back to the mid-pack where he was sitting. So, yeah, big job ahead of Paul Krobs there in 12th place.
So it's Nico, Kurt, and John. I wonder if that's supposed to say Johan in the same sim racing team. So that explains the identical liveries. Is Johan with the same livery as well?
Why don't we find out? I've swapped over.
No, in the McLaren. Well, I guess like same paint scheme, different car. No, all good. We assumed it was Johan.
Paul Krobs getting past Duffy and Castillo in short order, back up into 10th. Only 4 spots back from his starting position, but already we're seeing a big gap between Paul and Halbin there. So big job ahead of him, but he does have some clean air to try to pump some laps in after a shaky start. A couple drivers saying hello to the green tarmac, which apparently is allowed, as we have here. That is Esteban going down the inside of Prevost for a nice little move on turn 2.
Yeah, set it up in T1, got the inside and made it stick. They had a little drag race into T2, but Jorge had the ultimate victor there in that Porsche, which makes sense. That is a pro driver up against a silver, so you would expect Jorge to have a little bit more pace, a little bit more skill as well. Made that move. He is up 3 places after starting P9, not the best qualifying for Jorge. Matthew Duthie showing a yellow flag. That is the same place I believe he went off on the first lap, but this time looping it all the way around, doing a little bit. Oh, and spinning again.
Oh, and even
my
a little
gosh.
bit more. Oh,
That
Duffy.
Ferrari, something's wrong.
Yeah, not having a good time there, and the camera just mercifully cuts away. He'll have to get himself righted and back going. And again, he himself now has a very, very large gap. We see here Prevo was thinking about trying to make a move around Jorge Esteban, but did not make it work. Went too far outside, and Darren Shannon said, "Thank you very much. I would love to take that that spot." Oh, Steven, this is not my day so far.
Talking is hard, I know.
Talking is difficult. People don't think about it.
Something else that's difficult is going to be getting around to Richard Walters for Kurt Peters right behind. Only 0.4 seconds back, but Richard very, very quick. But of course has to learn that new Mustang. I'm not sure what kind of experience or time he has put into that car. It only released, I think, early last week, so maybe a week and a half it has been around to get laps in. So again, not sure what experience Richard has with this car. Great effort to qualify P3, already found a little bit of pace. It's going to be definitely more experience gained as he has an hour and 20 minutes to try and hold back Kurt Peters and Nikkonen as well, still holding station in that McLaren in P4, but just behind this battle. So it's a three-way fight for P2. We'll see what ends up happening with this.
Yeah. I mean, not even time to put together a livery, as you can see. It's just the carbon sitting on that Ford, but paint is just extra weight, as they say. So Richard doing everything he can to keep that Ford in front, as that is a big close fight for P2, and a big gap behind. I believe we have a car stopped. Oh, that may be Duffy in the pit.
Yep.
So Duffy's in the pits. We've got one driver in there. I don't believe the pit window is opened, so that is Duffy coming out. But he will unfortunately have to do a second pit, which is just a nightmare start for Duffy. I believe this is even his first race in the league, so that is just not a great start, but hopefully he can turn in some laps and get something out of it by the end of the day.
Fully agree. Going back briefly to Richard's paint scheme, for the Mustang, the specific model name for it, they call it the Dark Horse. That's what they call this, like a performance variant of the road car, and then when making the GT3 car as well as the NASCAR variant of it, they have also taken that name for these more competition-based variants of this Mustang. So it's called the Dark Horse. Maybe it's a little bit fitting that there is just a carbon black paint scheme on it. It just goes with the name of it. I feel like I was going to bring up one other thing, and it is now... Oh, we had a comment in the chat that I was going to bring back up. Valencia is this year's choice of the track for the FIA Motorsport Games in October. That's a little surprising to me, because I was trying to find like qualifying information, like real life qualifying information for that track overview video that we do, and I saw in the 2024 schedule they are not racing around here. So to me, it's a little surprising that they chose that as the track for the Motorsport Games, even though they are not visiting Valencia in real life this season.
Interesting. I wonder if maybe that's why they did it, just to change things up, to allow for a little bit of, to prevent pre-testing. As it looks like here we have Kurt Peters is thinking about making a move on Richard. Richard is very calmly holding that off, but Peters definitely has some pace in hand and is going to be a real pain in Walters' side for this foreseeable future.
Yeah, more like Kurt Painters, we could say.
Oh, maybe that's why Richard's having such a good time holding him off. No paint to be abused.
No paint, no pain. That is a squirrely Darren Chan looking. That is Ferrari on Porsche. A nice battle brewing between Macy, Jorge, and Darren, with Bryce Prevost just lurking in that pink Ferrari in the background.
I do like the look of Darren's car.
Nicholas Castillo, a brief yellow flag.
Going slow, may have just gotten squirrely on the exit of. Let me see if I can pronounce this correctly. A curva Champi Herreros.
That is your favorite. You really love that one.
It's anything that you can really emphasize. You know, I just need to have some fun. What do they say? Race car drivers just want to have fun. I think that was the song.
Yeah, I think you're right. I remember hearing that. I don't even know. For some reason, I was going to say on the jukebox in college, but then I remember that I'm not 80 years old.
Oh, that would, I mean, hey, they're making a comeback.
Jukeboxes?
Jukeboxes? Oh, yeah, jukeboxes are making a comeback.
I've seen record players make a comeback. I have not seen a jukebox anywhere.
You haven't seen a jukebox?
Maybe it's a Canadian thing.
Maybe. You know, we get technology like a good, maybe 80 years after the United States does, so the jukebox is quite new to us. Yeah, we've recently got the this new release from American country music artist Alan Jackson called "Don't Rock the Jukebox."
Wow, that's is that an actual song? I assume it's from like 1950.
No, it came out in 2023.
You're kidding.
At least in Canada.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, you're joking.
Why would I ever joke about a topic so serious?
I'm not sure. Who is not joking is Jorge Esteban made a Porsche on Porsche move, moves up to P5, but now has 9 seconds to catch up to Nikkonen in P4, and once he does, he will be up to this battle with Kurt Peters trying to move it up the inside.
And it looks like he's got it.
Yeah.
Beautiful move there by Kurt Peters. Lots of patience, and finally found the inside track. And up into P2 for Kurt.
I'm trying to... okay. I was trying to look at the naming history of... isn't country music the most popular in the States, at least for Texas? Definitely in Texas. A lot of the American South is going to have country as a favorite genre. I am not a fan of country. I could absolutely have it disappear and not be affected at all. If anything, I would love for it to disappear. I think a lot of it is hot garbage.
I think I would agree with you. A lot of the new stuff. I like, like Johnny Cash. You get someone with like a good voice.
Yeah.
And I like it.
I can see that.
Johnny Cash. There's Orville Peck. Orville Peck is not my favorite, but a very good singer, up and comer from I believe from Canada. But yeah, then you get like, what's her name? What was her name? There's this like pop country music that was just... I had the misfortune of seeing her live.
Is it like Carrie Underwood or something?
No. Very new.
Very new.
What's her name? I'm gonna look up top 10 country artists. She'll be there. If she's not here, then maybe I'm not... What's her name? I don't know any songs by her. I don't know anything. I'm going to be looking this up. It's not Dolly Parton, don't worry.
Yeah, I can't even think of any new country female stars, at least.
Don't mind me, I definitely will figure it out.
Yeah. While you're looking at that, a point I was going to make a little while ago was I was curious about turn 2 at this track because it seems to have a very outlier name, because a lot of these corner names named after very obvious Spanish motorsports stars. There was Adrian Campos, Herreros, which I think is Reagan's favorite, but then turn 2 is just called Duen, which is not Spanish by any means of the imagination. But I recognize that last name because there is a Formula 2 driver, named Jack Duen, current Alpine F1 reserve. I wondered if there was any relation, and I was able to find that the Duen corner here is named after Mick Duen, who is a 5-time 500cc motorcycle world champion. And Jack is Mick's son, so there is some relation there. Which I was... Yeah, I mean, when I was putting together the video, I was like, I wonder if that is related to Jack. Did not look into it further, but we are looking further into Darren Chan going off track there, letting Bryce Prevost by. We might have to do a quick little replay on that, see how that unfolded. So we have Darren staring down the backside of, I believe that's Kieran Macy.
Ooh, and yeah, it goes wide on... Oh, shoot.
Well, no, it's coming into T14. He's going to go even wider. He just jukes a little bit.
Oh, yeah. He gets up on the curbing and then does a good job not having a full spin out there, but loses his spot in the process.
Yeah, and interesting, he was keeping to the inside through T13, that very, very long left-hander. And then just kind of juked to the right a little bit, went offline, and then that just really unsettled the car into the braking zone for T14. So he unfortunately lost that space to... it was Prevost that got around, but it was Macy that he was behind in that Porsche. But at least did not lose too much time, is less than a second behind Prevost. So... Richard Walters.
Richard goes off. Also, I've been waiting to say this. Casey Musgraves.
Casey Musgraves.
Casey Musgraves.
I actually like her. I like a couple of her songs.
Okay. I mean,
just a couple.
I've never listened to her albums. I only heard her live, and I was not a fan. I will be honest with you. Yeah, she was at a festival I was at, and I'm just not a fan of pop country. She sounded like she did not want to be there. It was an outdoor festival. It seemed like she just wanted to be inside and just gave like the fakest, like, oh, I would love to come back sometime. Like, no, you don't. No, you don't want to come back here. Anyway.
That wouldn't happen to have been the festival where she basically made a meme, right?
Probably not.
She was at some festival and was doing like a call and response thing and was like, when I say ye, you say ha, and then she says ye, and the crowd says ha, and then she does it again, and she's like, when I say ye, you say ha, and then she waits, like she doesn't say ye, but then the crowd still says ha, and then she's like, I didn't say fucking ye. Have you seen that video?
I have not seen that video.
Oh my gosh. I'll look it up and send it to you. Casey Musgraves. It was Coachella 2019. I assume you were not at Coachella.
I was not at Coachella.
Because I was going to say, yeah, I think it was a big show, and indeed it was. But yeah, that was... I see it like on TikTok every now and again. Either that exact video or people just using the audio from it. But quite funny. I'm not sure if my verbal recollection of it was as iconic as the original. But yeah, that's one fond memory I have of Miss Musgraves.
Well, you know what? I'm not gonna yuck someone's yum. People like Casey Musgraves, that's great. I was not playing.
Yeah, and again, it's only a couple of her songs that I like. And if anything, it's the ones that don't even feel country. They just feel like they could be made by anyone.
The poppier side.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because like one of them is,
Ooh,
I think,
Darren getting
Rainbow.
very close there. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah, Darren, or no, that was Duffy. Duffy's
Duffy.
getting real close to Castillo. Really wants to make a move here.
Yeah, but is a lap down, so I think if he does want to get by, he should do so cautiously. Goes very wide there.
Carries lots of speed. That's what you want to do in a race car.
Yep. Speaking of going wide, I think Richard was saying in the Discord that he is going to be the fastest today at this race, but then clarified the fastest to get a drive-through. So I think that may have to be something to keep an eye on as Duffy does get around Nicholas Castillo and at least unlaps himself from Nicholas, but still a ways to go if he wants to completely unlap himself. So I wonder if he did have damage earlier, because we saw him in the pits, but we didn't look at how long he was there for. Apparently 39.5 seconds stationary. That would have been for most likely fuel, tires, or maybe he didn't take fuel and tires, because I remember you remarking that we didn't think the pit window had opened up, so it would have been foolish for him to take fuel and tires. So maybe that was a 40-second stop for damage.
Well,
but
you know
again, oh, go ahead.
Duffy, it looks like he has satisfied his pit criteria. He's the only driver at the moment. He does have the green bar, so he's also 2 laps down. Castillo is 1 lap down, and Duffy is 2 laps down. I wonder if Duffy might have pit twice, or maybe I was wrong, and the pit window was open after all.
Interesting. We will definitely be keeping an eye on that, as Nicholas Castillo, I think, had a brief moment with showing a yellow flag. Just a second.
Moment. No harm, no foul.
No foul.
Ooh. Darren with a bit of a tap. Now, I might be crazy. That looked like maybe a bit of net code there, because I thought there was space in between them. So maybe it was just a moment.
It looked like it, but then on the rear of Bryce's car, there were some scratches. But that may have been from lap 1 during that whole Constantina effect when Darren got into Paul. And then I think Bryce and maybe Kieran got together. Or no, maybe that was Duffy. I'm not sure, but Bryce may have had prior contact. I'm not sure if that was from Darren, so we'll see. It didn't show the little contact icon for them, so I think it was either netcode or it just appeared like they hit, but maybe they were actually still a few centimeters away from each other.
It's always hard to tell at live speeds. We've got, one thing about this being a pretty new track, all things considered, obviously, I think it's been out for 8 months now, but regardless, as Darren gets very squirrely on that curving. But we're seeing a very wide array of lap times here at the moment. I mean, we've got an 8.7 second gap between 4th and 5th place. 20 minutes in, without there being any major contact with those top drivers. So we are definitely seeing those more prepared drivers showing their stuff at the moment. We do have this nice fight here, this seemingly constant fight between Macy, Prefo, and Chan, which is great. Gives us something to keep us entertained, something to talk about. Always good to see some fights going on the grid, but a lot of spacing pretty quickly between the rest of the drivers.
Yeah, things are fleshing out a little bit. Again, with a smaller grid, I think we aren't seeing as many of those close battles as we may have seen before. We were seeing that 3-way fight for P2 earlier. between Kurt, Richard, and Nikkonen. That has now fallen by the wayside after Richard got passed by Kurt and then had his moment. Kurt is now 16 seconds behind Nico. Nikkonen 5 seconds back behind him. Richard another 4.5. So all of our battles, as Darren goes a little bit wide in the background there. All of our battles starting to be fleshed out a little bit. We're seeing that wide variety of pace, and a part of me wonders if it's because there's just going to be a wide variety of practice at this track. Because even though, I think you were saying Valencia came out a good while ago, it's just one of those that I don't think it's the most popular. I don't think a lot of drivers are eagerly being like, hey, let's drive Valencia. I think tracks like Barcelona, Spa, Monza, hell, even ones like Laguna, or these days even Watkins Glen, I think is relatively popular. I think those are going to be ones that drivers are more leaning towards. Valencia is I don't think everyone is itching to race it. So I think that could also be why we're seeing a little bit of some larger gaps forming. Might just be different experience. Jorge, what happened to him? A spin?
That is here. Let's do a replay. We are on a replay here with our friend Jorge Esteban. We've got
our amigo.
Our amigo. Oh, the synonyms are coming out.
Because we are in Spain.
Let's see, Jorge going through. Oh, no, not going through. Doesn't even make it to the turn. I guess turns in with a little bit more speed than he was expecting.
That was some very quick reverse work. Very astute.
Yeah, barely even made it to the Doblar.
To the Doblar?
The Doblar. That's turn in Spanish.
Oh. As somebody who studied Spanish in college, that's embarrassing. I didn't know that.
Well, I only know, who knows, maybe Google's wrong.
No, I assume it's right. It's just one of those words that I probably never really had a need to learn. I feel like my experience learning Spanish in like high school and college, you don't really get to know a lot of, I feel like, everyday words, because they start you off very basic. I mean, you're learning words, of like what you need to like order food, or like, I don't know. I remember we spent a lot of like time on like food items and like stuff in the kitchen. For the longest time, I knew how to say fork, but then you very quickly move on from that as we see Nikkonen getting past. I believe that's Matthew Duffy.
No, that's not Darren. I think that is Duffy.
Yep.
It comes up just a little bit faster than I think Duffy expected.
Yeah. But yeah, in that academic setting, you very quickly move on to more academic Spanish, learning more, focusing on writing essays, doing... stop spamming emotes.
What?
I didn't know that was a rule that we had.
How do I unblock that message?
Can we?
I can time out the Nightbot. Bad Nightbot. Yeah, let me go on mod view. One of these days, we should actually spend 5 minutes to learn how this works.
Well, again, we're not going to need to know how to use Twitch Studio in 12 days' time, because they are discontinuing it.
I would like to unwarn you. How do I unwarn you?
I wonder if I can do it in Nightbot settings.
Message deleted by Nightbot. I would like to undelete. We've been talking about undulate. Now we need to undelete.
Wow, that was good. That was some good wordplay.
Thank you. Thank you. Also, hey there, Pulse. I see an emoji. That Nightbot's coming for you.
Chorizo.
Oh, that's the second emoji. You gotta be real careful now. I don't see a way I can reverse messages.
I found the setting for excess emotes, so I can disable that. Okay, let's leave it enabled, but I can increase the number of emotes that are allowed.
I see at least 4 buttons that would allow me to ban a pulp. And I don't think there's a confirmation on any of those, so just you be careful there. I could click them for no reason accidentally.
Well, we should
maybe we should get out of mod view. This is too much power for me.
That is quite a bit of power, but the settings should now be changed to allow up to 15 emotes at the same time.
That's a lot of emotes.
That is.
It's a good amount of emotes.
Let's
you got
try
13 left. You got 12 left there, Steven. I can see what you're doing. Let
me try 5.
I guess we hold up. Nikkonen with a moment. I'm going to a replay here on Nikkonen.
Oh, replay. Ignore the emotes in chat. 15 per message, not for the whole stream. Good, good clarification.
What is happening here, Nikkonen? Goes a bit wide, and goes much too wide. And that is P4, Nikkonen, and now all of a sudden has. No, he might have been. I think he was in front of Richard. I think he was in front of Richard and has now lost that spot because he's 4.5 seconds behind Richard now. That's big. That means something.
That is very big. That does mean quite a bit, and this is no longer a replay. No need to apologize. That is well. I guess you didn't apologize, just saying you misunderstood. I could have explained that better and included some more details, so that is on me for being unclear with that. I am incredibly disappointed in myself. I will now go perform the Japanese ritual of seppuku to atone for my sins.
That is the only way you can atone, in my opinion.
It is. Do you have a synonym for that, Reagan, in your thesaurus?
Seppuku synonym? You know what? That might get into some iffy territory. I'm gonna nix that one right now. Actually, I thought about that first. I went to start typing, and I was like, wait a second. That's hope everyone is doing okay.
That's a topic that Nightbot would
not remove. Be a fan.
Yeah. I have a katana. I don't, but I'm sure I could make do with other utensils I have in my kitchen. As Darren Chan. Oh, into the pits?
Darren into the pits?
Bryce Prevost was looking to make a move, was very, very close, and Jorge Esteban follows Darren in. So these are our first, I think, real pit stops on strategy. Matthew Duthie, of course, pit earlier, but is now quite a ways back. I don't think it's going to be a major contender, but Darren and Jorge definitely fighting for some positions, so that will definitely have an influence on some more strategy for the race. 46 and a half minutes left, roughly, so we are 34 minutes in. Not quite yet halfway.
Yeah, lots of time left, and we do have a nice fight here between Prevost and Macy potentially brewing. Yeah, we do have a 25-second gap. That's usually what we see with Dudek at the front. Not much to see here. You can just kind of assume we've got a P1 in the bag, barring anything happening at the start. So nice win for Dudek at the moment. But Kurt Peters here going very strong. I mean, 15-second gap between Kurt and Richard Walters is very impressive in his own right. Now, that does have something to do with Nikonen's little mistake, but all that means is that Kurt did not make a mistake. So, Kurt having a great race for himself.
Indeedio. Speaking of that gap, maybe this is one of those times where we take advantage of the fact that we do have access to the server admin password. Maybe we should log in as an admin and start throwing some penalties around.
Ooh, throw some banana peels out there.
Oh yeah, maybe a stop go here and there.
Ooh, that could be fun. Don't tell Yvonne. Is Nordell's not racing today? We're missing quite a few of the admins.
Quite a few, yeah.
Yeah, most of the admins are out, which means they probably aren't available to stop us.
Well, Jorge's there, Prevo's there. Some big names still. Well, oh, sorry, I thought you meant of, Duffy around.
Oh, Duffy.
Just one corner after the corner that he spun the previous laps. Or, not previous laps, but early in the race is what I meant to say. So that Sector 2 seems to not be playing well with his setup.
No, Duffy having a lot of struggles in Sector 2. Whoa, Jorge going out on nowhere there. Saying, I would like that spot, thank you very much. And Darren did not have much in the way of defense there. Darren also getting out of the way there. I believe that was Dudek. No, that was...
No, I thought it was.
Was that Dudek? Where's Dudek right now?
Or no, that
was the...
that Kurt?
Must have been
Kurt, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of sign-outs. Tyler Babin, one of the admins, is signed out. Tristan Stork, Finley O'Reilly, Legadoy Simon, Gary Bosman, Rosen Pashoff. A lot of sign-outs, unfortunately, for this race. But life happens. You and I know that quite well with both of us having to miss a few streams here and there. Can't attend all of them.
It's it's always disappointing to hear that people value their real life outside of the community more than their Bez Racing team obligations. But not everyone can support the community in the way that it needs to be supported. So if Carl Nordell and Tyler Babin don't love Bez Racing team, then so be it.
So be it. We just know that we're better than them, and that's what matters.
Of course.
We have another fan of the Kurt, Nico, Johan team.
Trifecta. Yes.
Yes. Paul Krobs into the pits. Kurt Peters doing very well up in P2, just behind Nico. It's a very close battle for P1. Kurt only 30 seconds behind. I'm sure he can make that up in the next 42 minutes. He's only been losing about a little over a second per lap. I'm sure he can reverse that.
Yeah, if he flips it, then he's gaining a second a lap, and that would be enough. Lap times are not so long here. Kurt Peters, I think he's got a best of 32.1. Every driver has a best of a 32.1. Or sorry, a 32 or higher, except for Dudek, who has a 30.6. So Dudek is averaging lap times faster than everyone else's fastest lap time.
That is crazy.
It's something, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Times like these, I wish we had a Carl or maybe an Oystein Brenham to be able to fight.
Brenham would be fun. I mean, because the thing, Kurt Peters is a fast driver. I mean, he's been up there with the Nordells quite a bit this season. So it's not Richard is a pretty regular in the top 4, top 5. So these are fast drivers that Dudek is running away from. But I guess as the driver on leading the dessert team, he's having his cake and eating it too.
That was very nice.
Thank you, thank you. I was waiting for an opportunity to say it.
What would you say your favorite flavor of cake is, Reagan?
Ooh, that's a big question. That's a big question. I might have to cheat a little bit and say ice cream cake.
Ooh, okay.
I love me some ice cream cake, but that does feel like a cheat. So I will give you a real answer too. I would say my favorite cake. I like lighter cakes. I'm not the biggest fan of like a really dense. I mean, don't get me wrong. A dense chocolate cake, I will have a small piece and I will love that piece. But I love me like an angel food cake,
Mm.
like a log cake, like those. Something light, something fluffy, maybe like a lemon, like a really light kind of like vanilla lemon. Yeah.
When you eat a log cake, what kind of a log cake? Is that a natural log, a log base 10? What
Oh, it's yeah, it's oak usually.
oak?
Yeah,
I
it's
see.
an oak log. Vanilla cream with raspberry. That's a good choice. That's a good choice. There is I'm trying to look up the cake. Maybe log cake is not correct because I'm seeing Yule logs and oh no, that's soft vanilla like a roll cake, kind of like a roll cake, a log cake. I'm not sure the best name for it, but like they've got the filling on the inside too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good stuff. Ooh, see that's one thing. I don't have ice cream in my place enough. There's enough times where I crave it, and I'm like, shoot, I'm not leaving the house. It's 9 o'clock. I'm not doing anything for the rest of the day. I'd like some ice cream. Never have it. And then when I go to the store, I'm like, I don't eat ice cream that much.
I mean, at least that sounds healthy. That you don't get it, so then you don't have it to eat. It keeps you away from indulging on those cravings.
Well, Steven, speaking of snacks, I've found out a cheat code to make amazing popcorn. I make a lot of popcorn. My family eats a lot of popcorn. My parents are traditionalists when it comes to popcorn. They eat a lot of, it's salt, maybe some butter. My dad likes to make kettle corn sometimes, which is delicious. But I've recently been experimenting with smoked paprika.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah. You take some smoked paprika and some salt, and then sometimes I put some chili powder in there. Every so often, if I'm going crazy, I put some Laogan Ma. You know, Laogan, it's like a chili oil.
I do not.
Oh man, Laogan Ma. It's just this really like meaty flavor. It's an oil. So what you do? I found this from a YouTube video from like 5 years ago. Um, it's got like it's oil, but it's also got sort of like flakes and like pieces in it for flavoring. I think it's even got like nuts in there and like various like chili flakes and pieces. So it's a very flavorful kind of cooking oil that you use in some Asian recipes. And so what I've done is I've taken, or at least what the video said, and then I've been using it in other recipes. Is you take that oil and you take a scoop of it, and then you hold out the flakes. You just put the oil in with your regular cooking oil,
Mm-hmm.
your vegetable oil, your canola oil, wherever you're from, whatever oil you use. I found out recently canola oil is more of a prairies thing. And Stephen, do you use vegetable oil?
I use like canola oil.
You do use canola oil. Okay. I was told that canola oil is not super popular. Um, bourbon vanilla ice cream with pumpkin oil. What? That sounds nutty. Bourbon vanilla ice cream. I'm getting sidetracked. Lots of food oil here. But anyways, while gone by, you put the oil in and you save the flakes for afterwards so they don't burn. And then you put your oil, your salt, you cook up your popcorn, and then you put the flakes on top. You put your chili, like a chili powder if you want, and then you put some smoked paprika, and you just mix all that up. Oh my goodness, it is. Oh, it's good. It's good stuff.
How interesting.
You got the salty, you got the savory. Oh.
Yeah, I am just not the biggest. What was I gonna say? Biggest popcorn guy. So I do not know the tips and tricks there.
I love it. I love popcorn. So easy, so good. Bourbon, vanilla ice cream, and pumpkin oil. That seems strange. I'm gonna write it down. And I'm going grocery shopping after this. Pumpkin oil. Bourbon, vanilla ice cream. Maybe I'll try something new for dessert tonight. Guess we should talk about the race at least a little bit.
At least a little bit. Couple folks in the pits.
Yeah, we've still got our top 6 have not pit, along with Castillo in 11th. The majority of the midfield at the moment has pit. But yeah, no, I don't see any stop-goes at the moment. No penalties around, so drivers are so far keeping it on the track, which is always good to see. But also still 35 minutes left in the race. Long time to go.
Absolutely. We are past the halfway point. And of course, within the pit window, well within the pit window, so these pit stops count for the one mandatory stop. I know it's been a little bit since I've seen a race. I assume we haven't had any tire calamities like we had at Watkins.
No, we have not had any Watkins tire calamities. Yeah, you weren't there last week because you also don't love Bez Racing Team.
I don't.
Yes. Only I love Bez Racing Team. But no crazy tire stuff. That was wild. I've never seen anything like that before. And I doubt I will see much of it again. I'm sure it'll happen. Watch enough races, but that was nuts. So far, everyone seems to be staying the course. Let me take a look at pit stop times. It seems like every single driver so far has...
oh my gosh.
Has
Nico just typed in the chat while he's driving. He just let us know that he's boxing this lap. As Paul Krobbs, I think, got into the back of Kieran Macy there. Or no, Matthew Duffy.
That's Duffy.
How interesting. I think it's replay time.
But
it moved us to the wrong car. That is not what we want.
That is not. No, this is Paul Krobbs. We're good.
It was showing Jorge before. So Paul Krobbs approaching the back of Duffy going a little slow. Paul Krobbs goes to the outside to pass, but Duffy, I just don't think, was looking in his mirror. Takes the normal racing line.
That was a weird situation where it just kind of seemed like Duffy didn't know where to go, and then Paul didn't know what was happening. I mean, predictability is so important when you're trying to pass someone, especially at the end. So as soon as that predictability is gone, it's just it can get a little scary. It seems like that might have been what happened there.
Yeah, and with how quickly Paul caught up, I assume he thought, oh, he's going so slow to let me by, but I think that might just be Duffy's pace at the moment.
Yeah, Duffy's got some damage, I believe. He's not having the best race for a first-timer, so probably just trying to keep it on track for the next 30 minutes, get his car back in one piece.
In DDO, cars that are in, we have our leader, Nico Dudek, and Richard Walters also in. Richard pit, technically, the lap before, so he is still completing his stop, should be out shortly. Nico's still working his way to his box, and then Kurt Peters, I think, will be one of the last drivers yet to pit. Besides him, it will be Nicolas Castillo, still waiting to see him in the box, as we had... I believe that was Kurt Peters in.
Kurt Peters is in as well, so the front runners are all starting to consider a box about halfway through. I mean, like I said, every driver so far has changed tires, it seems, so would not be shocked if tires are just kind of getting wrecked here. I mean, it's a lot of turns, it's a lot of pressure being put on these tires. Tires for Nico as well. So not trying any alternative strategies. Maybe our drivers learned their lesson from Watkins Glen and aren't trying to go a full 75 minutes. We're watching Prevost. Okay,
and Duffy?
Was Duffy there? Okay, yeah, I was wondering about that because Prevost looked like he was taking sort of an odd line. Yeah, let's get a replay here. I think Prevost or Duffy might have been on the inside of Prevost there as we were sitting in cockpit view.
Yeah, so Prevost, I think, similar to Paul, was like, oh, Duffy's going slow, probably to let me through. I'm going to storm up the inside. And then Duffy, it just looked like he turned in without even noticing that Prevost was going for the move.
Well, that is certainly one of the issues with having slower lap times is drivers are going to come up on you faster than you'd expect. So
yeah. A part of me is almost wondering if Duffy doesn't have his virtual mirror turned on.
Oh.
Because that could partially explain why he doesn't seem to be seeing a lot of drivers coming up from behind him.
I wonder. I mean, I've been driving in VR for so long that I don't remember. Is it turned on automatically, or do you have to set it to be on?
I think it might be turned on automatically, but of course I know that ACC is not perfect. I know there used to be an issue sometimes. I think it was primarily more in like team races, but like where we would pit and swap drivers and then it would turn the mirror off and then you had to cycle through the cameras to turn it back on. So it might be one of those things where, yeah, it should be on by default, but maybe for Duffy it accidentally got turned off. But just one theory. It could also be that Duffy might be new to this and is just learning the ropes of situational awareness. Happens for everyone. It's always a learning curve. We're all amateurs at the end of the day. As Darren is showing a yellow flag, and yeah, it's showing Macy and Darren having a collision.
Do they have a tap? Interesting.
Let's replay this bad boy. So Darren up ahead. Darren, I know, has been trying to stay glued to the back of Jorge Esteban. Macy comes up, and yeah, just
Ooh. So we only caught the part where it looked like he was okay. But no, that was a much bigger tap. Looked like Macy was just going for an opportunistic dive down the inside, and it did not go the way that we wanted it to.
Yeah, it was one of those things. I wonder if was maybe trying to stick to the Porsche brake zone, because of course the
brakes late.
Notorious thing about the Porsche is you can brake much later, but that can sometimes come at the detriment when you are behind somebody who has to brake earlier in a quote-unquote normal car. So could have been that, could have been maybe ABS kicking in, because it looked like he was maybe a little more to the inside, so he may have had to be turning while braking a little bit more. That could have kicked shift in the ABS, and that, of course, increases braking distances. So, could have been any number of things, but ultimately, did get into the back of Darren, unfortunately, and that has relegated Darren to losing 2 spots, now sitting in P8, unfortunately. Now we have Darren behind Paul. They, of course, they came to blows on lap 1. Darren got into the back of that purple Mercedes, so I wonder if that is on either of their minds, as they are now separated by only a second.
Yeah, well, Paul with a nice recovery drive. Only 1 spot down from his starting position after that lap 1 spinaroo. So maybe it was lap 2, but regardless, Paul has been able to make his way back. So I'm sure he doesn't want to have to do that journey a second time today. We'll be hoping to keep things clean through the last 25 minutes. Let's do another check here. We have no penalties. We have everyone but Castillo has pit. They are done. So we'll just keep an eye out for Castillo. But otherwise, we've got a bright, sunny track. No chance of rain. It is 31 degrees on track, 25 degrees ambient. That is Celsius for all of our Americans out there. Let me look up 25C in Fahrenheit.
I think that's like 78 degrees, maybe?
Really very close, 77. 77 Fahrenheit is 25 degrees Celsius. This is a spammer and commentator. Well, we got the spammer, or at least a Nightbot picked up on the spammer.
Too many emojis.
10 emojis or something. That's just a little rich for this servers or this channel's blood. Of course, everyone knows that anything more than 14 emojis is considered offensive. As a mod, can I get banned for 15 emojis?
I don't think so. But it wouldn't ban you. It would just it would give you a warning. But I can probably go back up and try and... Can I copy paste? I cannot. Ah! You did it.
I can do it.
And I don't see Nightbot caring.
I am the god. I can spam my heart's content. I can ruin this chat. I hold the future of Bez in my hands. And I will use this power sparingly. I would not want to offend our 6 viewers. One of which is...
7.
Me? Is it 7? It's telling me 6.
Oh, it shows 7 for me.
Does it include mods in the viewer count? I would assume not.
For me, it might. If you are watching... Well, where are you seeing the viewer count?
I have Twitch open. I'm quote-unquote watching.
Okay, so it might not be including you because you're watching, but for me... Since
you're right.
I am not watching, it probably includes you in that. Is my guess.
Well, what's interesting is I don't fully know what this means, but it says, like, I'm actually counting on the side, and we have 13 quote-unquote viewers on the side. Like, if I go into the community tab, it says there are 13, and yet there are only 6.
Maybe that's total viewers, like people that have hopped on but then left.
That's probably it. You're probably right about that. This is what, our 3rd season commentating?
Yeah. It's a slow learning process.
We're pretty new to this.
I didn't realize, so I am on my phone on Twitch, and in the Twitch mobile app, there's like a specific mod view, so that's handy. I didn't know this.
Well, you have through Twitch Studio. I think you can draw on the screen, right?
Oh yeah, we totally can. It's pay attention to the fact that oh, that doesn't show up very well. Let's do a nice teal. Jorge Esteban up 4 places. Johan Hauben, I know, is part of that dessert team. Has not gained or lost any positions this race. Just a nice steady race. And of course our top 4 up here have all stayed the same, but it's been a little topsy-turvy for them and how they have remained constant. Nico, of course, has led since the green flag. Kurt lost a position at the beginning before Richard stole that on lap 1. Was in P2 for a while before Kurt made a very, very nice pass. Richard then lost the car as Nikkonen, speaking of losing a car, has spun. He's spun a couple times, and that is Kieran Macy not slowing down for the yellow flag at all. Sees the opportunity to move up. And
I've jumped over here. We're on a replay right now.
This is a replay.
This is a replay.
On Helicam. So we're going to see, and we know Nikkonen.
Can you show me where Nikkonen is on screen?
Oh, yes, he's right here. Do you see him?
I do see him, thank you.
Great.
Thank
and
you.
There's the Kieran Macy. Like I said, he was not slowing down for that yellow flag. He said, hey, I have a chance to get a free position. I am going to storm through.
Well, it's also a bit of a dicey turnaround, so that was not the best we have seen from Nikkonen. And where is Nikkonen now? He's gone.
Oh, he quit?
He's gone. Duffy up to P11.
Disconnected?
I have to imagine so. I mean, you don't spin like that. I mean, unless maybe he had internet issues which caused the spin, but
maybe because I think it was Macy and Esteban passed him, so I think he was in P6 still.
I think you're right.
And I don't think that's worth quitting over, so I would assume a connection problem.
Yeah, P6, I mean, that's nothing wrong with a P6.
Oh, why won't it let me draw? Have I lost drawing ability? Let me try and turn off the scribble. Oh, here it's back.
There we go.
Okay. I was going to draw a question mark. Where is Nikkonen?
Where is Nikkonen?
Those were 3 terrible question marks. But
Nikkonen. Those are not good question marks. Jeez. Steven, you're making our stream look amateur.
I know. I blame having to draw with a mouse.
Give us Nikkonen.
We'll leave that up for the remaining 17 minutes and 33 seconds.
Maybe you can write his name in down at 12th place. Oh, you're doing it all. Okay.
Oh yeah. We're professionals, Reagan.
Are you able to change transparency at all?
I don't think so.
Okay. That's not bad. That was not a bad 12. Okay, you redeemed yourself. That was a very straight line afterwards. I was about to make fun of you for that first line, but...
Oh, yeah. No, let an artist work.
I'm sorry. I don't even know why I would be questioning these things.
Nicholas Castillo in.
Castillo finally going into the pits. Final driver of our lot here to be going into the pits.
I didn't like that end. That's better.
You'll get it eventually.
There we go. It's question mark laps, because we don't know how many laps down he is. And he started P4?
Yes?
I think so, because we were talking before. Oh,
Yes, he started P4 because the top 4 had not changed positions.
yep. So this is...
Isn't this like 8? He's lost B positions.
Fine. I'll redo it. Is that better?
That is actually, that's much better. Thank you.
Wow. It's like he never even left.
You're just having a bad race.
But now, of course, if he does come back, we won't be able to see it on the timing tower.
I have a feeling at this point he's not coming back.
No!
No!
I hit disable draw mode because I thought that would just mean I wouldn't draw anymore, but I thought it would keep it on the screen. No!
Ruined it.
That was so beautiful.
That was very well done.
Oh,
There was time and effort put into that.
Here, Oh, I guess I can't.
Here. Let me help you out here, Steven. That one's for you.
Wow, I thought it was going to be an L.
No, you're a big enough L yourself. I don't need to.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, we've got a back and forth here. I'm actually, you know what, Steven? I'm going to do a replay here, because I think we missed something fun. I'm on a replay. Let's get the helicam going between Jorge and Macy. Thank you for the F, Dudek. So here's Jorge. Jorge goes out wide, and there is, I think that is Macy, who tries to jam down the inside, but Jorge says, no, thank you. I'm going to get a better exit. And that is the replay. Done and dusted. Steven.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
I apologize. I was replying to a message on Facebook Messenger.
And does it have to do with Bez Racing Team Season 5, race number 7?
In a way, I'm trying to sell some flight sim equipment that I have not used in many years, and with the proceeds from that, it'll allow me to continue paying for ACC TV. So I think it was very directly correlated to our work here today.
That is fair, actually. Normally I'd find a reason to roast you, but that's not bad. Thank you for your service.
Of course.
Ooh. Macy getting a little squirrely. And Paul Krabs looks like he might be trying to take advantage, although he's still pretty far back there. A good 3-4 car lengths.
You could also say 7/10. But why would you when you can also say 3 or 4 car lengths?
I could say 7/10
of a second, because that's what the gap is.
Oh. I could say 7/10. I was like, no, that doesn't make sense. What do you mean 7/10 of a car length? Ooh, there is, that's either Kurt or Dudek. That is Nico here coming through the action, hoping to have a clean pass. See if everyone is nice and cooperative, letting him through.
Looking at the timing tower, I just realized because Nikinen disconnected it, now everyone has either started or is currently where they started or has gained a place. I think this is the only time you would ever see something like that happen, where no one has lost a position.
How does that even make sense? I guess with you're right, with Nikinen leaving. That's 5, 6, 7, 8, and he went from 4. He lost 8 spots. There you go. Wow. Neat.
Neat indeed.
We'll see if that stays true. Jorge Esteban is not.
Went wide. I think. For Nico. Just letting him by. I thought that was a genuine move.
You got me excited, Steven.
I know. I'm just looking for any hint of excitement in these final 10 minutes.
Well, okay. We've got Macy, Krabs, and Esteban all within a second and a half at the moment. So that means something. There is excitement to be had in this last 9 minutes potentially. This is really it. This has been. I mean, it's a low race count, and lots of gaps did form pretty early on. It seems like quality times were pretty well indicative of race pace, except for in Jorge's case. But this is a fight for P4. I mean, P4 is a good spot. Yeah, we're not looking at a podium fight, but this is as close to it as you can get without it being a podium fight. So lots to be fighting for, and we've seen Macy be a little creative with his exits on this turn here, the final turn. So maybe we'll see some fireworks in the last 5 or so laps.
We better, and if we don't, I will not only blame you, but I will quit.
Yeah,
and then you'll truly be the only one left to love Bez Racing Team, as Darren is in.
Drive through. First one. Oh, you could see it coming from a mile away. A kilometer and a half away, roughly.
We gonna replay that?
I think we should replay that. Let's get the 30-second going. That helicam, the all-important helicam, and maybe we'll go over to Jorge here. So Jorge, it's a little squirrely there in turn 1, which is probably what allows Macy to get close enough to even think about this, and Macy very much thinks about it. You can see that Jorge was taking a defensive line from the start, was not really allowing room for that inside move. Macy goes for it, and that is just 2 cars coming into one there on a slow turn, and Paul Krabs takes advantage and is up into P4. So now all of a sudden we've got not 1 but 2 red lines as Darren lost a spot in the drive-thru and Macy loses a spot in the collision.
Yep, I think I spoke too soon and may have jinxed it when I said I wanted to see some action, because literally right after I said that, Casey goes for it. Kieran Macy. I combined that name. I think I was still thinking of Casey Musgraves.
Yes, yep. Casey Macy Graves. Jeez. Oh man.
I get it.
Yeah, you get it. Unfortunately for Jorge, he's still got Casey. He's still got Casey behind him. Now trying to go for the outside move, and you know what it's time for? It's helicam time. But it is not enough, and Esteban is comfortably in front. That is a shame. At least Steven's not quitting anymore. So.
Nope, I am here to stay.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that on its own is a bit of a mixed bag, I would say. But, you've got the good computer for streaming.
Exactly. That's all I'm good for.
No, that's not true. You're a great commentator, Steven. The fans love you.
I know, it's the only reason they subscribe. It's why we have,
Give it
what,
up.
70 something followers now?
That's not bad.
We've grown. We've made it work.
We've made it
Made
work.
it happen.
We've got 9 viewers. That's not bad. Hello to all of our 9 viewers.
84 followers. I was selling us short.
Oof. Well, I don't see anything in the activity feed there. So it's not showing any new follows. I think that's usually where it says it. 3 laps
You know,
left.
very true.
Closing the books on maybe a bit of a sleepy race. I mean, plenty was happening, but not the craziest race we have watched so far, barring real fireworks in this last lap. I mean, somehow Kurt Peters was able to make up 42 seconds a lap. That could be quite exciting. Kurt with Walters made up 29.7 seconds. That could be quite exciting.
Could be. If
No,
Aaron
Nico.
Macy could make a 0.7.
Nico, how are you doing? You should tell us. Why don't you give us a little rundown in the chat about your race right now? Spend this, and I would actually recommend only typing in the curves, in the curves, in the curves, in the turns. One of the two. Wow, Steven, I'm going to be honest. I have not been sleeping well recently.
Maybe it's from all that fancy coffee that you drink.
I did have a very nice latte this morning. Finally locked in a good recipe on the espresso machine. So it was nice. It was nice, not too acidic. That's been my problem. I keep making way too acidic shots of espresso.
And you need a more basic one, I hear.
Well, okay. Here's the thing. You've got very basically on the two ends of the coffee table, you've got your under extracted beans. So the water goes through it too quickly, doesn't have enough time to pick up all those flavors. And what you get is a very weak and a very acidic tasting coffee. Because those are generally what comes out of the beans. So what's extracted from the beans first is sort of the more acidic flavors, along with the caffeine. So the caffeine comes out very early in the extraction process. And then as well, if you let it go too long, if the water's spending too long sort of soaking in those beans, you're going to get a very bitter, of course, very harsh flavor to it. And of course, you don't want that. You don't want your coffee to be too bitter. You want a nice mix. You want a little bit of acidity. You want a little bit of bitterness, especially with espresso. You're looking for a more bitter flavor. You don't have espresso if you don't like the more bold, bitter flavoring of coffee. If you want something else, there's plenty of pour-overs and French press recipes out there for you. You can add your lighter roasts, which don't work great for espresso because espresso tends to bring out, kind of, at least in my experience, those acidic flavors. So you want a darker roast in your espresso machines. So I've been having trouble with getting really, really gross acidic coffee extracts from my espresso machine, but I think I've fixed that at least today. Very nice shot.
Well, good. I am very happy for you.
Thank you. I've never done Turkish. I've heard very good things about Turkish coffee.
So my confusion with Turkish coffee is like I see videos of it online, and I mean they basically show it like in the sand, and it comes up to where it's like boiling and almost overflowing. But I thought that boiling coffee was almost like burning it, and I thought that was bad.
I've never done Turkish coffee. I know at least when I do, because I usually do a pour-over every morning. That's what I do before work. And at least every recipe I've seen, I know there's some people who say, oh, you don't want the coffee, you want the coffee or the water at like 90 degrees Celsius. I just do it right off the boil. I've seen enough people agree with that. It makes good coffee for me. So I'm usually pouring the coffee directly from the boil of the kettle into my Chemex, my pour-over holder. So I don't know actually. I mean, with Turkish, it's very, very, very fine particulate. So I don't know. You roast your own beans. Wow, that's cool. That's very cool.
Is that the next step for you, Reagan?
I don't think so. I don't think I'm ever gonna roast my own beans. I'd much rather I have a very cheap espresso maker. I would want to spend good money on an espresso maker long before. We've got very nice roasters here. Very good premium roasters, so I'm able to get nice beans close to me. So I don't really feel the need to roast my own beans, but it's something I would love to do if I had, if I had the money to spend on a good mini roaster. So I don't know how much what's a roaster? Ah, oh, that's very cool. Roast it, grain it, boil it. So they've got a very nice coffee grind. It can make a Turkish grind. At least it says it can. I've only used it. I mean, it works very nice for espresso. So, yeah. Oh, I'm sure it does. I'm sure it takes a long time.
Well, there goes Nico Dudek.
There goes
the
Nico.
Line, your race winner. It was very close between him and Kurt Peters. Unfortunately, Kurt was unable to surmount that 45-second gap.
Kurt was beat to the line in a real drag race to the end.
Yeah. Nico lapped everyone up to third place, I believe.
Wow.
That is quite dominant, if I do say so myself.
That is certainly a race. But yeah, Kurt Peters as well. I mean, Kurt being 30 seconds in front of Richard is no small feat on its own. And then, of course, Richard, final podium position. Paul Krobs was the benefactor of a bit of luck. But also, I mean, I think it's definitely worth noting, Paul Krobs, lap 1, was down in last place all the way back to 4th. So a wonderful recovery drive from Paul. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. And Paul, I'm sure, will be very happy with that result. In P4, P5 for Jorge, P6 for Macy, Prevo in P7, Darren, Hauben, Castillo, Duffy, and of course we cannot forget Nikinen. Rounds out the race finish.
Yeah, despite getting hit by Macy, I think Jorge can still be happy with a little bit of his recovery back up to 5th after starting 9th. Paul, like you said, I think it was just some karma coming his way from not even lap 1, but I feel like every single race I've seen this season, he has had some bad luck come his way. So I think he was due for some good luck, and he got it. Nice P4 out of him. But yeah, Nico, as always, just showing how quick of a driver he is. Very good stuff from him.
Darren, not a fan of this track. We knew that at the start, and that has not changed, it seems. Darren, P8. P8's okay. It's certainly... Well, the quali band's not okay. Quali band's never great. I think we can all agree on that. People generally like being able to qualify.
I would agree with that statement.
Mm-hmm. But that's also a first race for the Ford. Ford in P3. And very nice to have you here in the chat. Always great to have someone to talk to, someone to talk with, all of our viewers. I mean, we wouldn't do this if we didn't have people coming and watching, and hopefully enjoying watching the race back or watching it live. So thank you all for watching, and we will We will talk to you in a couple weeks. June 1st, round 8, Red Bull Ring. First time at the ring for Bez Racing Team.
Yeah, I can't talk. Two brand new tracks in a row, at least for Bez Racing. We haven't been to Valencia nor the Red Bull Ring. So it should be exciting. That one is quite a bit shorter, so should be some good on-track action, some good action-packed stuff. If not passes for position, at least cars, being lapped. That at least adds to the strategy and the excitement of everything. So I am looking forward to that.
Yeah, should be a very fun race. I will make a little bit of confession. I still have to buy the DLC, so hopefully it's on sale. I have not been doing a lot of ACC driving recently, so regardless, I think with that we will sign off here. And again, thank you all for watching. For anyone who watches it back later, if you're somehow still around, then hope you have a good time, and we will talk to you all in a couple weeks.
Goodbye, everybody.